What's going on, guys? EA just released the January roster update, which they're actually calling the roster refresh. So, you know what that means. It's time for another ratings review. I feel like kind of PewDiePie here. So if you guys don't know how to get the updated roster, simply go down to rosters there on the main menu, active roster, and then you're going to download the most recent one, which of course would be January 25th. Mine does say custom roster, as I actually have to merge the roster, so you just press Y to do that with my latest custom roster, so I get all those created players still in the game. Otherwise, you lose them. Obviously, spent tons of time making those guys. Do not want to lose those players. So I'm just going to go through here, giving you guys my thoughts on the rating changes. I think it's only NHL for the rating changes, so, you know, nothing too crazy. Also, I don't think there's been any potential changes, but they have updated all the most recent trades and signings. So the Niederreiter for Rask trades in here, as well as the Koskinen signing and the Teravainen signing, as well as some other kind of minor stuff. So just going to go through here, giving you guys all my thoughts. Starting off with the Anaheim Ducks. No changes to any of their high-rated skaters, except for, I guess, Ryan Kessler was an 82, now is 79. Obviously, for franchise mode, makes his contract pretty much impossible to move. $6.8 million there for 4 more years. 34-year-old, 79 overall player. Does still have high top 9 potential, so he shouldn't lose his rating too fast. But yeah, unless you're trading that for another bad contract, good luck in moving him. The next one here, Patrick Eaves, was an 80, now down to a 78. I mean, Eaves hasn't been playing, so this is a tough one. I guess they just kind of have to do it for realism for, like, the franchise mode. Rowney here, I think, is actually up one from a 76 to a 77. And then Max Jones, where is he? He's a 72. He was a 67. Obviously, once any of these like prospects make the jump to the NHL, even if only for a few games, they usually bump them up to at least a 70. Also for the Ducks, John Gibson got an upgrade from an 80 to a 90, so he's already one of the best goalies in franchise mode. Now he's just even better. And moving on to Arizona next, guys, only one change here, and it's Connor Garland, of course. Scored a goal with his face, so he got an upgrade, +2 from a 71 to a 73. Also forgot to mention that on Anaheim, Andre Schuster is down from an 80 to a 79, which makes sense. He's been playing in the AHL. Next up, guys, are the Boston Bruins. They've actually gotten a few upgrades. Both Torrey Krug and David Krejci are up one from 84s to 85s. Big for Krejci, too, as he's making 7.2, so him getting a little bit of a higher rating obviously makes that contract not so bad. John Moore here is down from an 82 to an 81. And then in goal, Yaroslav Halak's also got a +1 upgrade. He was an 82, now an 83. Obviously, well-deserved. He played really good there when Rask wasn't playing so great. And next up, guys, we have the Buffalo Sabres. Jack Eichel finally got an upgrade. I think I've been saying how he needed one the past, few roster updates since, like, this game came out. 88 overall. He was definitely underrated at 87 when you compared him to all the other guys at 87. Also, too, Reinhart here got an upgrade, now an 84. Playing back on Eichel's line, doing very well. Dahlin also got an upgrade, now an 84 from 82, so pretty good for rookie season. Still, though, only has the medium elite potential. I like to boost to high elite, personally, for my franchise and stuff. Like, what, the best defensive prospect ever, arguably. Definitely should be, I think, high elite. Kalak Poso here actually dropped to an 82. Obviously, he's been struggling a little bit here. I think I'd probably also bring down his potential to medium top 6. Next here for changes, I think they made Sabatka lower. Now a 78. And then I know they upgraded a few guys who have been getting some NHL minutes. Pilat here got a +3 upgrade, was a 74. Nelson got a +2, was a 75. Again, when they start getting more NHL minutes, they usually do upgrade them. And then a big downgrade, though, for Matt Hunwick. Was a 79, now a 75. Obviously, this one makes sense. He's only played 2 games in the NHL this year, so definitely well-deserved downgrade. Moving on, guys, we have the Calgary Flames. Obviously, they've been crushing it lately. Johnny Gaudreau got a +1 upgrade, now a 91. Honestly, I think he has the sickest hands in the league. I mean, just look at his puck skill stats. 95 everything with 96 puck control, just insane. Giordano here got a much-deserved upgrade, now an 88. I think he's like top 3 in defensive scoring at 34 years old as well. He's a guy I think potential is too low. They have it at low elite. I would say at least medium elite, maybe even high elite. That way, because of his age, he'll stay good longer. I know whenever I play franchise, they always have him on the trade block because he like drops in rating so fast. With the higher rating and higher potential, should be a bit more realistic. Monahan there I think is the same. Lindholm though got a nice upgrade, +2, now an 86. Obviously, he's just been crushing it on that top line with Gaudreau and Monahan. Tkachuk's also playing very well. He's gotten a +1, now an 85. I have him on my fantasy team. Pretty crazy to see how much he's scoring. I think he's on like the 3rd line, but also the power play, so probably where he gets like, the majority of those points. And next year you have James Neal, who's dropped again, now an 80. I mean, they just signed into that big free agent contract. Not looking good, at least in-game. I feel like he's a guy that could definitely move this summer if a team's willing to like take a chance on him. Vegas looks pretty good in letting him go. And then you got Oliver Kylington here. He's got a +5, now a 75. I like to mention with the Buffalo defenseman, obviously, once these guys start getting more NHL play time, They're obviously going to get upgraded from like the AHL rating kind of to like a bottom 6 NHL rating. Also, both their goalies have changed. David Ritchie got a +3 from a 79 to an 82. Well deserved. He's a big reason why they're playing so well. Mike Smith, though, kind of like in Edmonton, has gone from the starter to the backup. I think he dropped 2 from 83 to 81, so this just better respects how they've been playing right now, but they're still pretty close in rating, so I think that looks good. Looking at Carolina next year, guys, Sebastian Aho got another upgrade, now an 88, so I think he's gone +3 on the year. Still, though, has the high top 6 potential. I'm not sure why they gave him that opposed to medium elite. I personally like changing it to medium elite. I think he's definitely deserving of it. Like I said, they had the Teravainen extension in there. Brett Pesce actually got a downgrade, so it was an 81, dropped 1 here to an 80. And the only other change on this team is Scott Darling dropping in rating from an 81 to a 79, which makes sense, as you can see here, he's not even on the NHL roster. They have Mrazek as a starter and McElhinney as the backup. I remember when that Darling contract got signed, I thought it wasn't a good move, and I feel like Edmonton might have just made the same mistake with Koskinen, but I guess we'll find out. And we're on the Chicago Blackhawks now. Brent Seabrook has dropped again in rating, now an 81. He's another guy. That's a very, very tough contract to move. 81 overall defenseman, 33 years old, $6.8 million. I don't think it's going to happen. Yoki Harju got an upgrade, though, now an 81, so obviously he's been playing very good this year. Dylan Strome also got an upgrade, an 80, he was a 78. I really like that trade for Chicago when it happened, and I mean, Strome, if you guys look at his numbers, has been playing so good there. I think, playing with his old buddy DeBrincat has really helped out. Gustafsson there is also up too, was a 78, now an 80. Now, even though I think Strome's been playing really well, I personally like to change his potential from medium elite to low elite just to more accurately represent his trade value, as right now it's kind of similar to other guys, like not quite as good as say like a Mikko Rantanen or somebody, but you know what I mean. I think the low elite just makes a lot more sense for him in franchise. Calhoun also got an upgrade, now a 79, was a 78. You can see they have the Kajula trade added in. I still feel like that was such a bad move for Edmonton. I think that's all the changes on skaters, and then for goalies, Colin Delia there, now a 72, was a 66, I think, but he's sort of like their de facto starting goaltender right now, so definitely deserve that upgrade. Also, guys, I almost forgot to mention, Corey Crawford dropped down another point in rating, now an 87. I mean, he has been injured, but even when he was healthy, he wasn't really playing that good. Colorado next here, Grubauer dropped 2 in rating, now an 81. I really had high hopes for him in Colorado, kind of be like almost equal to Varlamov. Has not really been the case. Rantanen here is up another rating, now a 90. I mean, him and McKinnon are just so sick together. Personally, too, I like to have them both as high elites. I mean, when you're both top 5 in scoring and just tearing it up, I mean, I think, Eichel has a high elite, Matthews has high elite, other guys that have high elite, I feel they're on the same level as. Landeskog there, low elite. I feel like you could probably make Landeskog a medium elite. I mean, he has shown he's kind of been that good. In regards to the rest of Colorado's team here for the ratings, JT Comfort's up 1, now a 79. I think they dropped Barbero in rating, was a 76 or 78, now he's a 76. And then lastly here, Bork's dropped 1, now a 76. So I think that all makes sense. Again, for me, I think they did a pretty good job with the ratings. It's more just the potentials I would go in and change. And next, you guys do the Columbus Blue Jackets. So Cam Atkinson and Pierre-Luc Dubois both got a +1 rating. And looking at like kind of Atkinson's rating in the last few years, it just shows me that I feel like they should kind of take like a broader scope when looking at ratings. Like, he had a really good year 2 years ago, so his rating was pretty high, like 85, 86. Then last year, it was at that rating to start, he had a bad year, so he went all the way down to like an 81. Now he's back to an 85. So I feel like when doing these ratings, you should look at how they've done recently, but also consider kind of just their whole career of work. As like with Atkinson, you probably could have just left him at an 84 and never changed him, and that would have been fine, but whatever. Savard here is actually dropped in rating, down 1 from an 83 to an 82. Riley Nash has also dropped in rating. He was an 80, now it's 79, so he's also dropped 1. And then goalies, Bobrovsky dropped in rating. Kind of surprised. I felt like he was playing good enough to keep the 91, but now a 90. Moving on here, guys, with the Dallas Stars. So regardless of the CEO's rating, Sagan and Ben have not changed in rating. I'm glad for that. Actually, I think they played even better after his comments, which I don't know about that one. So Heiskanen here, though, +2, now an 83. Honestly, you could argue he's the best rookie defenseman this year. For me, it's like him and Dahlin neck and neck. Next up here, you have Cogliano in the trade. He's actually dropped in rating from 81 to an 80. Nichushkin here's also dropped in rating by 1. Was an 80, now a 79. I mean, he's definitely not played anywhere near as good as they hoped when they signed him back. Thoughts also dropped 1, now a 78. Dickinson, though, is up 1 to a 78. Brett Ritchie dropped 1 to a 77. I mean, Dallas is like a one-line team. It's pretty obvious. Fedun here, I think, is actually upgraded, though. Yeah, he was a 74, now a 76. Again, another one of those things where if they're using them a bit more, he's getting a bit more ice time, they're just going to upgrade his rating, kind of like for the play now and versus games more than franchise. And next to you guys, we have my favorite team, the Detroit Red Wings. EA finally showing Larkin some respect, bumped up his rating from 85 to an 86, but he still has medium top 6 potential. Similar to Aho, I feel like he should be medium elite. You guys can argue with me if you want, but there's definitely worse players with medium elite. Like, he's a better player than Dylan Strome, who has medium elite, only a year older. He definitely is deserving of it. Point per game this year, like, he's the best player on the Red Wings by far. And then Mike Green here also got a +1 upgrade, now an 83. And then I think Trevor Daley dropped one from a 79 to a 78. I feel like they could have kept Daley to 79. It wasn't a big deal. Hronek, though, actually got an upgrade. Was a 77, now a 79. Him and Cholowski obviously both stepping up big this year for the Red Wings, so they needed. So good to see them both getting upgrades. And then All-Star Jimmy Howard also got an upgrade, now an 84. Honestly, I thought both him and Bernier were going to be like splitting time this year. As it turned out, though, Howard played better than I expected and Bernier worse. So the new ratings definitely reflect that. And next year, guys, looking at the Edmonton Oilers, obviously the team everyone loves to hate. Tons of controversy with all their moves the past month or so. With Shirley now being fired, hopefully they can start to turn it around. So Draisaitl here actually got a +1 upgrade, 87 to 88. I mean, he's playing awesome hockey this year. He's an all-star. It makes sense. Then you got Nurse here also getting a +1 upgrade from an 82 to an 83. I think that one's well-deserved as well. Obviously, he stepped up huge with Clefbaum being down. Petrovic here actually dropped in rating from 81 to an 80. Same goes for Milan Lucic. So like I kind of mentioned before, that contract's pretty much impossible to move. I'm trying to think here. Ryan Spooner also dropped one, just put on waivers, so that kind of makes sense. So Manny here also dropped in rating, actually -2 from a 79 to a 77. So both defensemen Strelly traded for dropped in rating. Kind of no wonder he got fired. Chase on here, though, actually went up one from a 77 to a 78. Obviously, he's playing pretty well this year, scoring lots of goals, so that makes sense. And then both their goalies had changes. So Koskinen got a +2 from an 80 to an 82. Also, he's got that extension there, $4.5 million for 3 years. I don't know about that one. And then Talbot actually dropped one from 82 to an 81. So it's kind of like Calgary, beginning of the year. Talbot was a clear-cut starter. Koskinen, I think, was like a 78, lower rated than Montoya, which made no sense. And since then, they've switched. Koskinen's now at the higher rating, Talbot the lesser, as Koskinen's kind of emerged to be the starter. And next, you guys have the Florida Panthers. Only a few changes for them. So both Mike Matheson and Nick Bjugstad are actually down one from 83s to 82s. Then you have Piszczek also down one from 81 to an 80. But Toronto is actually up one to a 79, which makes sense. He's been playing pretty well on that top line. I actually picked him up in fantasy. Pretty happy with that decision. And then Chris Weidman here, obviously, in that Edmonton trade. Looks like maybe he's in the AHL right now. I don't see him, but he actually dropped one from a 79 to a 78. And next up here, guys, are the LA Kings. Obviously, still not playing too well. So Ilya Kovalchuk's actually gone down in rating from an 86 to an 85. Kind of feel bad for him coming back to the NHL on a not so good team. I'm wondering if maybe he asked for a trade or something. I feel like LA is going to kind of start rebuilding here. Already 35 years old. Definitely something to look out for. Also, too, he's got medium elite potential. I feel like low elite matches him a lot better just due to his age. Jeff Carter here also dropped in rating. Was an 85, now an 84. Obviously, he's not having the greatest season either. You can see, too, like Doughty, Kopitar, both low franchise. I don't know, LA, I think they're going to have to start a rebuild here. Camp also dropped in rating. Him, Phaneuf, and Hagelin were all 80s, now 79s. Again, basically just reflective kind of the team's performance as well as their own. And then in goal, actually you can't see him right now, but Cal Peterson got a +5. Was a 71, now a 76. And moving on, now we have the Minnesota Wild. Zach Parise got a well-deserved upgrade, now an 85. He was averaging a point per game for like most of the year. I think he's just under a point per game right now. Definitely having a bit of a resurgence here. 34 years old. Obviously, the contract $7.5 million for 7 more years till he's 41. But right now, he's actually worth his contract, so good for him. I noticed too, Ryan Suter has highly potential, yet he always seems to drop in rating like after the first year. I really don't get it. Giordano, I think I'm going to have to bump up to high elite as well to try and keep their rating high for as long as possible. Jason Zucker here actually dropped in rating though. Was an 85, now an 84. Obviously with him, he's averaging like a point every other game, on pace for about 45 points. I thought the $5.5 million was a little expensive for him in his contract, coming off like the best year of his career. Turns out he probably is more of like a $4.5 million player. Also on Minnesota here, obviously you have Victor Rask. He actually dropped in rating. It was an 82, now an 81. Also, he had high top 6, now medium top 6. So if we were to retry that trade simulation, I feel like we'd be getting a different result. Pontus Aberg here is actually +1 in rating. Was a 78, now a 79. Look at the rest of the team here. You got Jordan Greenway up 2 from a 76 to a 78. JT Brown, though, they dropped in rating 78 to a 77, and that's our guy. He streams NHL and stuff, so sucks to see that. And speaking of that, guys, actually, I'm going to be in Minnesota at the Mall of America February 18th for the Minnesota Wild Esports Tournament, so if you guys are around or whatever, I would love to meet some of you guys. Mark on your calendar or whatever. Should be a fun time. And next, you guys are the Montreal Canadiens with a ton of changes. I think 11 rating changes in total. That might be the most of any team, so the first one here, Jeff Petrie, up 2 from an 83 to an 85. Obviously, playing some pretty good hockey right now. He filled in definitely big time when Weber was out. Montreal also is a surprising team this year, so a lot of guys were definitely deserving of an upgrade. Kotkaniemi here is actually up 1 to an 81. Still, though, rocking that low lead potential. And like I mentioned, they haven't changed any of the potentials, but I feel like he should definitely have medium elite in my eyes. I feel like it's not too much of a stretch to give the 3rd overall pick medium elite. Philip Deneau here also up 1 to an 81. Same with Paul Byron here. It was a 79, now an 80. Same goes for Andrew Shaw. Kulak also got a +1 rating. Jordy Ben here is also up 1. Armia actually dropped 1 from an 80 to a 79. Alsner dropped 2, so his contract is just absolutely terrible now. And even though they're not shown here, Noah Juleson also got a +1 rating, now a 79. He must be on the AHL team. And Dave Schlemko dropped 2 from an 80 to a 78. And next, you guys are the Nashville Predators, obviously one of the best teams in the NHL. Ryan Johansson got a +1 upgrade, now an 86. Obviously makes his contract a lot more worth it there. $8 million for 7 more years. It's insane. Ekholm also got a +1, now an 85. Next up, you have Colton Seasons. He also got a +1, now an 80. Ryan Hartman, though, actually dropped 1 to a 79. And then you have Austin Watson dropping 2 to a 77. And Grimaldi's actually up 2 to a 75. And in regards to the Devils, guys, the only change to a skater is Blake Coleman up 1 from 79 to an 80. Obviously, a bit of an expensive contract there for 79 at $1.8 million, so that helps him be more worth it. Both of their goalies, though, changed in rating. Are both backup goalies, I guess you'd call them. Kincaid there is staying the same. Schneider, though, biggest drop for a goalie from an 87 to an 83. Obviously, he's had a very rough year. I think like the worst stats in the NHL, but you know, his whole career still keeps his rating somewhat high. I'd probably at least leave him at an 85 or so. I don't know. It's tough. Like, obviously, that injury definitely affected him. 83 overall, making $6 million as a goalie is tough. And then Mackenzie Blackwood got a big upgrade. Obviously, he was playing backup there for a little bit. I think he got a +5 from a 71 to a 76. Binghamton Devils there, obviously quick to find. Yeah, now he's a 76, so pretty solid prospect goalie. And next, you guys, the New York Islanders. I still feel like Matt Barzal's underrated. He didn't change or anything, but he should be an 87 in my book. Brock Nelson, though, is up 1, now an 82. Obviously, Islanders have been playing very good hockey. Having said that, though, Nick Leddy actually dropped 1, now an 82. Kind of surprising for their top pair defensemen. Islanders fans, let me know if you think that should be the case. I don't know. Maybe I'm like missing something. I'm not watching every Islanders game or anything like that. Scott Mayfield's also up 1 wherever he is. It's now a 79. And then Devin Tate here is actually up 3 to a 75. And Robin Lehner, well-deserved, up 1 to an 85. And I feel like Gray should probably be a bit higher rated as well, since they've both done really well for the Islanders this year. So at least an 83 in my eyes. And actually, guys, with the New York Rangers, bunch of like plus and minus 1 changes for them. So starting off here, Zuccarello's down 1. Kevin Hayes, though, is up 1. That's a big Chicklets bump, I think. Buchnevich there, down 1. Pionk up 1. I think Fast there's down 1. Same with McQuaid. Strome, though, is up 1. Also, Nemestikov here is down 1. Same with Brett Howden, which is kind of surprising, but he did start off the year a lot stronger than he's kind of been playing lately. Churl here is actually up 2. He's coming along nicely. And then finally, Boonies here also got a +1 upgrade. And moving on here, guys, with the Ottawa Senators. Thomas Chabot got another well-deserved upgrade, now an 86. I mean, check the stat sheet. Arguably best offensive defenseman in the NHL right now. Kid is just insane. Brady Tkachuk here also got a +1, now an 81. So I think he's the same rating as Kotkaniemi. And you can see he's got medium elite. I feel like they just both should have that. Colin White there also got a +1, playing pretty good. DeMello also got that +1. And then CC actually dropped in rating down to a 79, which I think makes sense. And next up, guys, are the Philadelphia Flyers, the team we just did the Cup or Bust for. So we'll see kind of how it may have went differently. So first off, a couple big downgrades. Voracek and Simmons both down 1. Honestly, they are doing a little worse than last year, but I'm not sure if it really warrants the -1 rating. Sanheim, though, is up 1 to an 81. Also, Radko Gudas got the +1 rating, now a 79. He's actually a really good underrated defenseman, I feel, in fantasy. If you need someone that gets like hits, penalty minutes, shot blocks, stuff like that. And in goal here, guys, we have Carter Hart with the big +9 upgrade, going from a 70 to a 79. It's actually the biggest upgrade for any player in this roster update. Obviously, well-deserved. He's the best goalie on the Flyers right now. I was actually saying too how I kind of wanted to do like a 75 for him, but because we were doing the cup or bust, didn't want people to think we were cheating or anything. So well deserved again. And I mean, 79 medium elite at 20 years old. He'll probably end up being like the best goalie in the game for franchises once you're like 5-6 years in, I think. And next year, guys, are the Pittsburgh Penguins. Unfortunately, Crosby did not receive a bonus for being the All-Star Game MVP. Below him, you have Malkin. I noticed too, so Malkin has high league potential. Personally, I feel like that's not high enough for him. On my eyes, he should be medium franchise. I think that's like the same as Stamkos. But the first change for the Pittsburgh is actually Letang, getting a +1 boost, now an 88. Same goes for Gensel, actually, +1, now an 84. Brassard here dropped 1 to an 83. Same with Mata. Was an 82, dropped 1 to an 81. And then you have Sheehan here, down 1 to a 78. And Aston Reese up 1 to a 78. They've also had a goalie change. DeSmith here actually got a +3 upgrade from a 79 to an 82. I feel like that's well deserved. He's played pretty well this year when Matt Murray's had his struggles. Also, I know everyone's comparing him to like Koskinen. I think similar numbers are better, making 1.25 for the next 3 years. So $3 million a year less. And in this game, they have the same rating. And DeSmith's younger, so kind of telling. Next year, we actually have the host of the All-Star Game, the San Jose Sharks. So Timo Meier here's up 1 to an 85. Obviously, having a bit of a breakout year. Probably saw my draft bust video and had to prove me wrong. Marc-Andre Vlasic, though, is down 1 to an 85. I did see he's like -13 on the year, but I don't know. He's a defensive defenseman. I feel like maybe he should have kept the 86 rating. Definitely hurts in franchise mode too with the $7 million salary for the next 8 years till he's 39. Like, looking at it, there's some bad contracts here. I mean, Brent Burns is good, but till he's 40, $8 million. That's a lot of money. Thomas Hertl, though, actually is up 1 as well. Just like Meyer having a pretty solid year. Then you have, I think, Braun here is down 1 to an 81. Sorensen here got a +2, now a 78. Obviously, he's been playing pretty good. And then at the bottom here, these two 75s. I think Riddell is up 3. And then Simek, I think that's how you say it's up 4. Again, kind of like some of the other guys. When you start getting a bit more NHL minutes, NHL games played, they usually boost you to like at least a 75. So makes sense. And next up, guys, we have the St. Louis Blues. So Alex Pietrangelo here actually dropped in rating from 89 to an 88. I don't know about that one. I feel like Petrangelo's kind of showed over the years how good he is. Even if he's having a bit of a down year, I'd probably keep him at the 89. Jaden Schwartz, though, down to an 86. He's down 1 from an 87. That makes sense. Last year, had a pretty big year, but it was his best year ever. This year, kind of back to normal, so 86 makes sense. Vincent Dunn here's actually got the +1 up to an 82. Then you got Jay Bouwmeester here, down 1 to an 80. Again, I think that's pretty fair. Where is he? Oscar Sundqvist is actually up 1 to a 77. Robert Thomas got the +2 to a 77. I like this. Just makes the prospects kind of grow faster whenever you boost them. So obviously big fan for franchise. And then goalies, Jake Allen got another downgrade, now an 82. Obviously hasn't been playing too good. I think Binnington's getting most of the starts lately anyways, so that downgrade definitely makes sense. And next year, guys, are the best team in the NHL right now, the Tampa Bay Lightning. They're already so stacked. Obviously about to get some more upgrades. So they already win the franchise mode sim in the first year, like almost every time. Now they're just going to be even more deadly. Like, it's just going to be unfair. So Nikita Kucherov here got a +1, now 92. Also, I can't remember exactly. I feel like he had medium elite potential before, but now it's back to medium franchise. I could be wrong about that. I just remember him having franchise and having elite, and now it's franchise again. Braden Point here, well-deserved upgrade. He actually got the +2 from an 86 to an 88. I thought last year was a really good year for him, and he about stay that good. He's doing even better than last year, so very well-deserved. I think the medium top 6 potential, though, is definitely underrating him. He should have medium elite, which makes, Tampa just even more stacked in franchise mode, but he definitely deserves the medium elite potential. There's no reason he should not have it when guys like Dylan Strome, Alex Nylander, guys like that do. Let's see here. All those 84s. I was looking at it too. I think they have the best top 5 in the NHL, or at least in NHL 19. Like Kucherov, Hedman, Stamkos, Point, McDonough. I feel like not only does no one have a better top 5 than that, but no one has a better starting lineup than that, as it works out pretty well. 3 forwards, 2 defensemen, of course, Vasilevsky in net. So moving on here, Strowman actually dropped 1 and now an 83. Braden Colborne, though, is up 1 to an 81. Then some of the younger players, Joseph there, I think got a +1, now a 79. Sorelli got a +2, now a 79. Obviously, younger players have been playing quite well for them. Ernie also got a +1 and now a 78. And then Cernak here got a +5, I think, or no, +4, up to a 75. Again, I was filling in for an injury, played pretty well in the NHL. You're going to get boosted to about a 75. And next year, guys, we have the team a bunch you've been waiting for, the Toronto Maple Leafs. So Austin Matthews is actually a 90 now. He got the +1 rating. I think this is fair. Watching them play this year, I think him and Tavares are about equal, so makes sense they'd both be 90s. Mitch Marner here actually got a +1 as well, now an 88. Obviously, best year of his career. He looks so sick. It's going to be very interesting to see how much he gets paid in this offseason. Same goes for Matthews as well. Then Nylander here actually dropped one from an 85 to an 84. I don't know about that. I mean, obviously he's been slow start here, but like, is the difference between him and Marner an 84 and an 88? I don't think so. I feel like Marner should be 86. I think Marner should be 88, and then Nylander should be honestly be like 85, 86. I think 84 is just too low for him personally. Pretty crazy too, making that $10.2 million this year. So moving on here, you have Kapanen actually +1, now an 81. Johnson got the +2, now an 80. They've both been playing pretty good, like middle six roles. Hainsey though actually dropped one, now a 79. Ozhiganov there actually is up 2 to a 79. And then I think there's one other change. Yeah, Lindholm here also got that +1 and now a 77. And then in goal, Anderson also got upgraded, now 89. I mean, he's obviously been so good for Toronto ever since he got there. That was such a great trade for them, getting not only a starting goaltender, but one of the best goaltenders in the league for a couple second-round picks. Pretty good deal. And moving on here, we have the Vancouver Canucks, starting off with the Calder favorite, Elias Peterson, now an 87 overall. He actually got a +1. Now, I'm fine with the rating. The only thing I'm not fine with is EA's always been super tough with rookie ratings. Last year, Barzal was just killing it, point per game, and I think he didn't get higher than 85, maybe even less than that, like 84. I remember McDavid's rookie year, he was insane. If he didn't get injured, would have won the Calder. I think he was averaging over a point per game as well, and I think he was 87 tops. And we're talking about Connor McDavid, who everyone knew was probably going to be a top 5 player ever to play the game. So I'm fine with the rating. The only thing I'm not fine with is why they were so tough on every other rookie. I'm hoping if Jack Hughes or whoever has an amazing rookie season next year, they're also generous with their rating, but time will tell. Moving on now, we have Edler. He actually got a +1 as well, now an 83. Louis Eriksson dropped one to an 81. Stetcher's up one to an 80. Then a bit further down here, you got Tyler Mott. He's actually got a +2. Went from a 75 to a 77. Exact same thing happened to Josh Levo, who I've actually heard from Vancouver fans is playing pretty well. Haven't really heard too much about Tyler Mott, though. Schaller here actually dropped one. Was a 78, now a 77. Pretty expensive contract there for 77. Also, you guys can't see him here. He's in the AHL right now. I believe on loan to the Toronto Marlies, Sam Gagner. I think this is kind of funny. So they dropped him from an 80 to a 78. You can see there, making $3 million playing AHL hockey for a different organization. Kind of funny. And next you guys are the Vegas Golden Knights. Just a few changes for them. So Alex Tuch actually got the +2 upgrade from an 82 to 84. Well deserved too. He's having a great season. I thought that contract that they gave him was maybe a little bit too expensive. Hadn't proven enough, but turns out it's probably a smart move on their part. Next year we have Brayden McNabb actually dropped one from an 83 to an 82. Brandon Peary here I think is up 2 from a 77 to a 79. Obviously, all the dude does is score. Also, guys, Ryan Reeves here got a +1 upgrade from a 78 to a 79. I think him and Fleury actually both got Chicklets bumps, as Fleury's also got a +1 upgrade from 87 to 88. So, I mean, Vegas is playing pretty good. They had a bit of a shaky start their sophomore year, but definitely looking like the Vegas we saw last year again. Looking at the Capitals now, I feel like their top 2 players have underrated potential. I mean, Ovechkin could honestly go down to be the greatest goal scorer of all time. If he isn't already, I would give him high franchise potential, just like Crosby. Also, Kuznetsov, I feel, should have medium elite. I don't know why they gave him low elite, but for the upgrades here, Wilson's actually got a +1, now an 83. Niskanen dropped one to an 83. Kempny, though, is up 1. He's definitely looked so much better playing in Washington than he played in Chicago. Burakovsky here actually dropped 2 to a 79, was an 81. I feel like he's a player that definitely needs a change of scenery. His contract's actually up at the end of the year. RFA, but I could definitely see them trading him for 3rd round pick, maybe 2nd round pick, whatever really someone's willing to risk for him. Also here, I think they have a couple other minor upgrades. Dowd there, I think, got a +1, same with Boyd. Next year, guys, are the Winnipeg Jets. Obviously, another team having a great season. Personally, I feel like Tampa Winnipeg, that's what a lot of people are picking to be the Stanley Cup final last year. I think maybe it happens this year. So Morrissey here got a +1, now an 84. Obviously playing really good hockey, especially kind of filling in right now with Buffalo being injured. After that, just a couple small changes. Tanev there got a +1 to a 79. And then Joe Morrow there got a -1 to a 77. And then in goal here as well, the backup, Rousseau there, got a pretty big upgrade. I went from a 77 to an 80. So 80 overall backup, making $650K. Definitely looks a lot better than an 82 overall, making $4.5 million. But maybe that's just me. And Winnipeg's the final team, guys, so that's it for this ratings review. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, leave that thumbs up. Also, guys, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do that. We're like 700 away from 100K, so help me get that silver play button. Would really appreciate it. Also, guys, let me know in the comments section if you agree or disagree with the new ratings. Honestly, I thought they were pretty good. For me, it's probably the potentials I feel need more work than the ratings now, so hopefully we can see that in a future update. But that's it, guys, for this video. Thank you as always for watching. Have a nice day, guys. Goodbye.